The silent tech war, how China built the new world order. What if the next global war didn't look like a war at all? No bombs, no armies, just apps, microchips, and a silent takeover of the infrastructure that powers the modern world. While the West was distracted by profits and platforms, China was playing a deeper, longer game. This is the story of the silent tech war, and how China is building a new world order without firing a single shot. In our previous episodes, we saw how China weaponized debt and how it seized control over energy. Now we enter the third battlefield, the digital frontier. This is the quietest war of all and the most dangerous. Chapter 1. The strategy begins. In the early 2000s, China was still seen as the world's factory, but inside Beijing, a new doctrine was forming. Control the future not with guns, but with data. In 2015, China launched Made in China 2025, a 10-year state-led plan to dominate high-tech industries, robotics, aerospace, semiconductors, AI, biotech, and next-gen information tech. Over $300 billion in subsidies were funneled into these sectors. China identified 10 strategic sectors and directed state-owned enterprises and private giants alike to lead the charge. The West dismissed it as another industrial policy, but it was something more, a blueprint for technological supremacy. Examples. China doubled its R&D spending between 2012 and 2021, reaching over $440 billion annually. Patent filings in China surpassed those of the US in 2019, the first time in modern history. Companies like Huawei, Alibaba, and Tencent were quietly rising, heavily backed by state funding. Chapter 2. The Nortel heist. Nortel Networks was once the crown jewel of Canadian innovation, responsible for 70% of all telecom traffic at its peak. But between 2000 and 2009, it suffered a mysterious, slow collapse. It was later revealed that Nortel's internal systems had been compromised for years by Chinese hackers. Passwords, technical schematics, and emails were accessed. The attacker remained undetected for nearly a decade. Meanwhile, Huawei, once a minor player, began rolling out telecom equipment with striking similarities to Nortel designs at a fraction of the cost. Consequences: Nortel went bankrupt in 2009, laying off thousands. Canada lost its global telecom edge. Huawei surged to become the largest telecom supplier in the world. We'll explore this deeper in an upcoming mini-documentary, The Nortel Heist. Chapter 3. Building the Digital Empire. Armed with funding and stolen IP, Chinese tech giants expanded globally. Huawei installed infrastructure in over 170 countries. ZTE established networks across Africa, Latin America, and Southeast Asia. DJI captured 70% of the global drone market. ByteDance launched TikTok, now with over 1.6 billion users. These weren't just commercial victories, they were footholds. With every contract, Chinese firms gained data, access, and strategic leverage. China also became a top exporter of surveillance tech. Over 60 countries have adopted Chinese facial recognition systems. Hikvision, a state-linked company, is the world's largest surveillance camera manufacturer. Chapter 4. 5G, the future battleground. 5G isn't just about faster phones. It underpins smart cities, autonomous vehicles, military communications, and AI infrastructure. Huawei invested over $4 billion in 5G R&D and offered cheap, scalable networks globally. By 2019, Huawei had secured over 90 5G contracts outside China. The US, UK, and Australia banned Huawei gear citing national security threats. but other nations accepted the deals. The result? Huawei controls a third of the global telecom infrastructure market. Western countries face costly replacements and delays. Chapter 5. Control through dependence. China cornered the global tech supply chain. Approximately 70% of smartphones are made in China. 80% of rare earth processing is done in China. China produces over half of the world's PCBs, printed circuit boards. Many Western companies rely on Chinese factories for hardware, assembly, and components. Even U.S. military systems source microchips and PCBs made in or through China. China also exports its surveillance state. Safe city projects in Latin America, Africa, and Southeast Asia run on Chinese AI. Data sovereignty laws often give Chinese companies long-term access. Chapter 6. Taiwan, the final tech battleground. Taiwan is home to TSMC, the world's most advanced chip maker. It produces over 90% of cutting-edge chips below 7 nanometers, which power AI, smartphones, and military hardware. If China controlled TSMC, it would dominate the semiconductor supply of the entire world. This is why Taiwan is more than a political flashpoint. It's a technological one. Chapter 7. What comes next? Quantum, space, and AI supremacy. China is now investing heavily in emerging tech, $15 billion plus for quantum computing research. National AI strategy, aiming for global dominance by 2030, plans for a Chinese-led space-based internet network. While the West regulates and debates ethics, China builds. Final thoughts. The silent war has already been fought. This wasn't a war declared. It was a war ignored. And by the time the world noticed, much of it was already lost. The silent tech war isn't coming, it's here. The question now is not if China controls the digital world, but how much longer it will take for the rest of the world to wake up. If this episode opened your eyes, drop a comment below. Like, subscribe, and turn on notifications, because next time, we're exploring China's control over the digital minds of the next generation. And don't miss our special bonus video, the Nortel heist, coming soon. Thanks for watching. We have many informative and thought-provoking videos coming up week after week. So stay tuned.